Good morning, my friend. Today, as you sit here at the beginning of your day, you are carrying so many plans in your mind. You have things you want to accomplish, goals you want to reach, and desires that press heavily on your heart. Yet even as you hold those plans, you know deep down that your life is safest in God's hands. So right now, let's pray together and surrender those plans to Him, the one who knows every moment of your life, the one whose timing is always perfect. You don't have to hold the weight of controlling everything, because the Lord has promised to direct your steps if you place your trust in Him. Think about the things that make you anxious, the deadlines, the projects, the hopes you feel slipping away. God is inviting you this morning to lay them all down before Him. You can say quietly in your heart, "Lord, I give you my plans today. I trust that your timing is better than mine." This act of surrender is not weakness, it is freedom, because when you release your tight grip, you allow His Spirit to guide you into what is best. Remember what Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." That means your future is not in chaos. Even if it feels uncertain, it is being carefully shaped by His loving hand. Maybe you've been waiting for something for a long time, an answer, a breakthrough, a change you've been praying about, and maybe you're tired of waiting. But trust this: God is never late, and He is never too early. He comes exactly when the time is right. His delays are not denials, they are preparations. Right now, He might be preparing you, strengthening you, and shaping your character so that when the answer comes, you'll be ready to receive it fully. So don't rush, don't panic, breathe and let His peace cover you. Say in your heart, "Lord, I surrender my impatience. Teach me to trust your timing, even when I don't understand it." And as you pray, imagine your day unfolding not by accident, but by design. Every encounter, every challenge, every opportunity has been seen by God before you even step into it. He goes ahead of you. He makes a way where there seems to be no way. Your responsibility is not to figure out every detail, but to stay close to Him, to walk in faith, to keep your eyes fixed on His presence. That is how surrender turns into strength, because you are not left to your own wisdom, but guided by the wisdom of the Lord who sees the beginning and the end. So today, instead of holding on to fear, you can hold on to God's promises. Instead of forcing things into your own timeline, you can step back and allow Him to move according to His perfect schedule. And when you feel restless, you can whisper, "Lord, help me wait with faith. Help me believe that your plans are good. Help me surrender my ways to your higher ways." My friend, this is the prayer of surrender, a prayer that frees your heart from worry and fills it with peace. As you go into this day, may you walk with the quiet confidence that your life is hidden in Christ, that your times are in God's hands, and that His plan for you is not only good but perfect in its time. Every plan you carry inside your heart today can feel so fragile, as though it could fall apart if you are not careful enough. Yet God is whispering to you that nothing entrusted to Him will ever be wasted. You may have mapped out how things should unfold when you want to see progress, how you expect certain doors to open, and what you think is the right sequence. But the Lord often works in ways that are hidden from your sight, and His wisdom far exceeds yours. Think of the countless times you were protected from a path that seemed right but would have led you to harm. You didn't see it then, but now you recognize it was His mercy guiding you away. In the same way, the plans you entrust to Him today will be shaped, refined, and perfected according to His divine wisdom, not according to the limits of your own vision. It is natural to wrestle with uncertainty, to feel the tension between what you desire and what God allows. But in those moments you can find rest by choosing to trust His heart. He is not trying to withhold good from you. He is preparing what will truly bless you. When you let go of the need to control, you make space for Him to surprise you with something better than what you had imagined. Think of Abraham, who left his homeland not knowing where God would lead him, yet because he surrendered, he inherited promises that reached beyond his lifetime. That same God is at work in you. Your surrender today is not a loss. It is the very soil in which His promises grow. As you walk through this day, surrender becomes practical in the small moments. When a conversation doesn't go the way you expected, you can choose to believe that God is still weaving good out of it. When a door closes, instead of despairing, you can remind yourself that the Father who closes one way is able to open another that will serve His purpose more beautifully. This way of living frees your heart from bitterness and disappointment, because you no longer measure success by how closely life follows your script, but by how faithfully you are walking with the One who holds the script. Every prayer you lift today, whether whispered in the car, spoken in a quiet room, or carried silently in your heart, is a thread of surrender woven into the fabric of your day. You don't need to shout for God to hear you. He listens even to your sighs, your restless thoughts, your quiet longings, and He answers not always with immediate results, but with peace that steadies your soul, with patience that grows inside you, with a sense of His nearness that reminds you that you are never abandoned. This is what it means to trust His timing, to believe that even while you wait, He is working. Even when you cannot see progress, He is moving. So as the morning unfolds, imagine placing your plans on the altar of His love. Picture yourself setting down your calendar, your to-do list, your hidden dreams, and hearing Him say, "Be still. I am with you. I know the right moment. I will lead you." Let that assurance carry you through every task today. You are not running after time. You are walking in step with eternity's Lord. And with each step, His timing will reveal itself, not rushed, not delayed, but perfect. When you let yourself rest in God's timing, you begin to notice how different the rhythm of your day feels. No longer do you need to live in constant urgency, as though everything depends on your ability to make it happen. Instead, there is a deep breath of freedom that comes when you remember that the Creator of time is walking with you. Every minute you live is already known to Him. Every path you step onto is already measured by His wisdom. That means you can release the pressure of carrying tomorrow on your shoulders and focus on being faithful in the present moment. Knowing that God Himself is arranging what lies ahead, sometimes the hardest part is surrendering not the big plans but the little interruptions. You may have imagined your morning flowing smoothly, but then something unexpected disrupts your schedule. At first it feels like an obstacle, but if you place even that interruption into God's hands, you might find it was a hidden opportunity, an invitation to patience, a moment to listen more deeply, or even a chance to serve someone in need. Trusting God's timing means you stop labeling every delay as wasted time and start looking for His fingerprints in the pauses. He is just as present in the waiting as He is in the breakthrough. Think about how Jesus Himself lived. He never rushed, even though His mission was urgent. He often stopped to listen, to heal, to attend to people others would have ignored. He trusted the Father's timing perfectly, knowing that the cross, the resurrection, and every step in between had its appointed hour. If the Son of God chose to walk in that kind of surrender, then surely you, too, can release the fear that you are falling behind. You are not late for God's plan. You are exactly where He is shaping you to be. When your heart aches for answers, remind yourself that God's silence is not absence. The very waiting that frustrates you may be the sacred ground where He is teaching you to trust. The seed in the soil does not push itself into bloom overnight. It rests, it roots, it waits for the season of growth that only the Creator controls. In the same way, your life is like a seed planted in God's care. You do not need to force the fruit before its time. You only need to stay rooted in His presence, watered by His Word, and warmed by His Spirit. The harvest will come, not by your striving but by His faithful hand. Each time you feel restless today, you can turn that restlessness into prayer. Lord, I choose not to run ahead of You. Help me to walk with You. Each time anxiety rises because you don't see results yet, you can whisper, Lord, I lay this down again. My times are in Your hands. Each time you are tempted to doubt, you can remind yourself, His plans for me are good. His promises are sure. His timing is perfect. These small prayers build a fortress of faith inside you, turning your heart away from worry and toward worship. And isn't it beautiful to think that surrender doesn't just change your relationship with God, it changes how you treat others too. When you trust His timing, you become more patient with the people around you. You no longer demand that they meet your expectations on your schedule. Instead, you extend grace, remembering how patient God has been with you. This kind of patience is itself a testimony of your faith. It shows the world that you believe in a God who holds the clock of eternity and that you are at peace resting in His control. There is a quiet strength that rises within you when you stop clutching your plans so tightly and begin to rest in God's hands. That strength is not loud or anxious, but steady, like the calm surface of a lake that reflects the morning light. It gives you courage to face uncertainty without fear because you know that your life is being directed by the One who never makes mistakes. Even when you cannot see more than one step ahead, you can place your foot down with confidence, trusting that He has already prepared the ground beneath you. This way of living is not about giving up on your dreams. It is about letting God breathe His life into them so that they flourish in His way and in His season. Every plan surrendered becomes lighter. You no longer need to carry the burden of making everything succeed by your own effort, because you are trusting the God who multiplies loaves and fishes, the God who turns water into wine, the God who raises what seems dead back to life. What you place in His hands may look small to you, just a few ideas, just a fragile hope, but in His timing, it can grow into something far greater than you could ever imagine. And the peace that comes from this surrender is not just for your heart alone. It overflows into how you live, how you speak, and how you treat those around you. There will always be voices that urge you to hurry, to grasp, to force outcomes before they are ready. But when you anchor your heart in God's timing, those voices lose their power. You begin to live differently. You can sit in the waiting without despair. You can work diligently without fear. You can pray with expectation without demanding how or when the answer must arrive. This is true freedom. To know that your destiny does not depend on your frantic effort, but on God's faithful love. And as you go through today, notice how often His timing proves itself trustworthy. The conversation that happens at just the right moment, the encouragement that arrives when you most need it, the door that opens when you had nearly given up. These are not coincidences. They are reminders that the Lord of heaven and earth is also the Lord of your schedule. He sees not only the big picture of your life but the smallest details of your day. And nothing escapes His care. So lift your plans to Him again, even the ones you've already surrendered many times before. Tell Him, Lord, they are yours. Shape them, refine them, and fulfill them as you will. Then step into this day with open hands instead of clenched fists. Because the moment you let go, you discover that His hands are already holding you. When you wake to a day filled with expectations, the first thought that can steal your peace is the fear of not having enough time, not being able to manage everything, or missing the chance to see your plans succeed. Yet when you pause and breathe, remembering that the Father is already present in this moment, those fears begin to loosen their hold. Trusting His timing does not mean you stop working or planning. It means you carry your responsibilities with a lighter heart. Because you are no longer ruled by urgency but led by His Spirit. This shift in your soul changes the way you move through the hours ahead. Each task becomes less about proving yourself and more about being faithful with what He has placed in front of you. Surrendering your plans is not about abandoning them. It is about placing them where they are safest. In God's care, sometimes you will find that He reshapes them, trimming away what would harm you, adding details you never considered, and expanding them into something that serves not only you but also others. Think of how Joseph's dreams as a young man were misunderstood, delayed, and even seemed destroyed, yet in God's timing they blossomed into a calling that saved nations. What looked like detours were actually the very path that brought him to his purpose. The same can be true for you. The pauses and redirections in your life may feel confusing now, but they are often the soil in which God's larger plan takes root. Learning to wait with grace is one of the hardest lessons of faith. You want doors to open now, results to come quickly, and answers to appear clearly. But waiting teaches you patience, and patience teaches you trust. And trust, once deepened, becomes the anchor that holds you steady through every storm. Without the waiting, you would not know the strength of God's faithfulness. Without the delay, you would not experience the sweetness of His timing. So instead of despising the seasons that feel slow, you can begin to thank Him for them, believing that they are preparing you for blessings that could not come too soon or too late, but only in His perfect hour. There is a peace that comes when you accept that your timeline is not the measure of success. The world may rush, but the kingdom of God moves at the pace of eternity. You are not falling behind. You are being guided at exactly the speed God intends. Even when opportunities seem missed, remember that no good thing slips past His sight. If it is meant for you, He will bring it again, renewed and ready. If it is not meant for you, He will guard you from it, even if it disappoints you in the moment. Either way, His love is protecting your journey. And so, as you prepare for what lies ahead today, you can carry a quiet assurance. Every plan, whether fulfilled or delayed, is resting in the care of a Father who knows what will bring you lasting joy. Your role is not to predict every outcome, but to remain faithful, to love generously, to walk humbly, and to let Him weave His purposes through your choices. When you live like this, surrender is no longer something heavy. It becomes a daily invitation to live free. There is a holy mystery in how God works through time. You may see your life in fragments, this week's struggles, today's responsibilities, tomorrow's hopes, but He holds the whole picture at once. What seems like a delay to you is not a delay to Him. He sees the threads that must be woven together before the tapestry is complete, and He patiently, lovingly weaves them in order. If you could see the finished work, you would understand why some doors did not open when you knocked, why some seasons stretched longer than you wished, and why some blessings came only after tears and waiting. Trusting God's timing means believing that even what feels unfinished is part of a design that will one day shine with beauty. When you live this way, even your disappointments take on new meaning. Instead of crushing you, they become reminders that your life is guided by a hand wiser than your own. Every closed door is not rejection but redirection. Every unanswered prayer is not silence but preparation. Every delay is not wasted time but sacred space where your faith is strengthened. This changes how you approach your daily life. Instead of forcing outcomes, you begin to ask, "Lord, what are you teaching me here? What do you want me to see in this moment?" That question itself becomes an act of surrender, a way of leaning into His wisdom instead of clinging to your own. And what happens when you surrender your plans is that you begin to live with more joy in the present. You stop treating today as just a bridge to tomorrow and start seeing it as holy ground where God is already at work. The conversation you will have later today may be the very encouragement someone needs. The small act of kindness you show could become the seed of healing in another person's life. The simple work you do faithfully may become the foundation for a door God will open later. Nothing is wasted when it is placed in His timing. Do not underestimate how deeply this posture of surrender can heal your heart. When you no longer measure yourself by speed or by comparison, the weight that has pressed on you begins to lift. You no longer feel the need to compete with others, because you know your path is unique, and God is leading you step by step. You no longer feel condemned when things don't unfold quickly, because you know your Father delights in shaping your character more than rushing your progress. And you no longer live in fear of missing your purpose, because you trust that what He intends for you cannot be stolen or lost. If you carry anxiety about the future, bring it to Him right now. Picture yourself laying down every schedule, every plan, every deadline at His feet. Say to Him in the quiet of your heart, "Father, I release control. Lead me where you will. Let my timing bend to yours. Let my plans align with your greater purpose." That prayer is powerful because it moves you from striving to resting, from fear to faith, from self-reliance to God-dependence. And when you pray it, you are not speaking into empty space. You are being heard by the God who bends history itself to accomplish His will. My friend, if you allow this trust to take root in your soul, It will transform how you see every hour ahead. Instead of rushing, you will walk with purpose. Instead of worrying, you will rest with assurance. Instead of clinging to your own way, you will lift your eyes to the one who is already making a way. This is the beauty of surrender. You lose nothing and gain peace. You give up control and receive freedom. You release your plans and receive His promises. Think for a moment about the area of your life that feels most fragile right now. It could be your work, where you've been waiting for an opportunity that hasn't come. It could be your relationships, where you long for reconciliation or for someone to truly understand your heart. It could even be your own inner journey, where you are trying to grow, to change, to become more like Christ, yet you feel slow and unsteady. These are the very places where surrender is most needed, because they reveal how limited your control really is. And when you finally admit, "Lord, I cannot carry this by myself," you are not stepping into defeat, you are stepping into the freedom of letting Him take the lead. When you place your career into God's hands, you begin to see that success is not about climbing faster but about walking faithfully. You no longer measure your worth by titles, promotions, or recognition, because you know the Father sees your diligence even when no one else applauds. If the opportunity hasn't come yet, you trust that He is preparing both you and the opportunity for the right moment. And if a door closes, you rest in the confidence that He has something better that aligns with His purpose for your life. This does not mean you stop working hard, it means you work with peace. Knowing the outcome does not depend on you alone. In your relationships, surrendering your plans to God means accepting that you cannot change another person's heart. No matter how much you try, you can love, you can forgive, you can show kindness, but only God can bring true transformation. When you release your need to control others, you give space for the Spirit to move. You stop carrying the weight of frustration and start carrying the light of patience. And as you do, you reflect the love of Christ, the love that waits, that forgives 70 times 7, that never gives up. Even broken relationships are not beyond the reach of His timing. What looks impossible today could, in His hands, become tomorrow's testimony of healing. Even in your personal growth, surrendering your plans is vital. You may want to be further along than you are. You may grow impatient with your weaknesses, frustrated with your failures, weary of falling into the same mistakes. But God is patient with you. He knows the exact pace at which your soul can be stretched, healed, and strengthened. Just as a tree does not grow overnight, your transformation into Christ-likeness unfolds in His timing. Every stumble can be a lesson, every delay a shaping tool, every quiet season a hidden preparation. If you entrust even your growth to Him, you can rest in knowing that He who began a good work in you will carry it to completion. When you surrender in these areas, work, relationships, personal growth, you begin to notice something shifting deep inside. The anxiety that once controlled you gives way to peace. The fear that you are falling behind is replaced with assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. The bitterness of disappointment softens into gratitude, because you can look back and see how God has never failed you, even when His ways confused you. This is not passive resignation, it is active trust. It is saying, "Lord, I will keep walking, I will keep hoping, I will keep doing my part, but I place the outcome in your hands. And here is the truth that sustains you. Nothing entrusted to God is ever lost. No prayer whispered in faith disappears. No dream surrendered in humility is forgotten. No waiting season is wasted. Every moment, every tear, every desire you lift to Him is gathered into His plan, woven into His timing, transformed into something that will one day reveal His glory. This is why surrender is not a burden, it is a gift. You have carried your heart into this prayer, and now let it rise simply before God as an offering of trust. Speak to Him as you are, without complicated words, without pressure to explain every detail. Tell Him in your own quiet way, "Lord, these are my plans, my hopes, and even my worries. I lay them down before you, because I believe your timing is better than mine. If today brings open doors, I thank you. If today brings waiting, I will still thank you. If today feels confusing, I will not let go of you, for you are my guide." Let this morning be a moment of release, where your clenched hands soften and you remember that nothing is safer than what is placed in God's hands. As you pray, you don't need to prove your faith by strong emotions, you only need to offer your honesty. God delights in your surrender, even when it is small and trembling. He hears the sigh of your heart as clearly as a song of praise. So lift your plans once again and whisper, "Father, I entrust this day to you. Let your wisdom shape my choices. Let your spirit guide my steps. Let your love keep me steady. I will not run ahead. I will not fall behind. I will walk with you." And with those words, rest. The day is new, but you are not alone. The Lord is with you, and His timing is perfect. Take this moment to let your whole being be still before the Lord. Because stillness itself is an act of faith. When you slow down, when you quiet the noise inside you, you are showing that you believe God is already at work. Even if you do nothing more than breathe His name, whisper to Him now, "Jesus, I trust in you." Let those words be enough. Repeat it again and again, until they soak into your soul and calm the anxious beating of your heart. You do not need to hurry through this prayer, because prayer is not about finishing something, it is about being with someone who loves you. As you rest in that presence, think of every plan you hold for today. Some are simple, like finishing your work, caring for your family, or managing daily responsibilities. Others are deeper and carry the weight of your longings. Dreams for the future, hopes for relationships, desires for healing or success. Place them one by one into His hands. Imagine you are offering them like small stones into a river, letting the water carry them where it will. They no longer rest on your strength to hold, but on His wisdom to guide. Say within your heart, "Lord, take this plan. If it is good, let it bloom. If it is not, redirect me gently. Whatever happens, let it be done in your time, not mine." This is how your burden grows lighter. Every surrendered plan releases a weight you were not meant to carry. The peace of God begins to cover you, not because all your problems are solved in this instant, but because you are no longer alone with them. You have given them to the one who holds the universe together. You are walking into your day not with empty hands, but with open hands, ready to receive whatever blessing, lesson, or opportunity He chooses to send. Do not be afraid if some answers take longer than you hoped. The waiting is not empty, it is sacred. God uses the waiting to shape your patience, deepen your trust, and align your heart more closely with His. And when the right time comes, His answer will arrive not as something rushed or incomplete, but as something whole, beautiful, and exactly what your soul needs. Until then, keep breathing out your prayer. Lord, I surrender my plans. I trust your timing. I walk with you. Keep your heart open now, because prayer is not only what you say but also what you allow God to place within you. Let this moment be a quiet offering, your time, your energy, your hopes, your uncertainties. Imagine standing before the Lord with empty hands, not because you have nothing, but because you are giving Him everything. In that emptiness, He has room to fill you with peace that does not depend on outcomes, with courage that does not fade when answers are delayed, with hope that is not shaken by disappointment. Lift up your voice in the silence of your soul. Father, here is my schedule. Here are my plans. Here are the things I long to see accomplished today. I give them to you because I believe your wisdom sees further than mine. Guard me from rushing where I should wait. Protect me from fear when things seem uncertain. Remind me again and again that my life rests not in my control but in your faithful love. Each word you speak in this way is like laying another stone of trust into the foundation of your day, making it stronger, steadier, more secure. There is such freedom in remembering that God is not demanding perfection from you, only surrender. He does not ask you to solve the puzzle of your life before you come to Him. He simply asks that you bring the pieces and allow Him to arrange them. And in His hands, the broken edges you thought would never fit can form a pattern more beautiful than you dreamed. Even the delays, even the setbacks, even the unanswered questions are not wasted. They are colors and shapes in His larger design. So let this prayer settle deep into your heart. Lord, I will walk slowly if you ask me to wait. I will run with joy if you open the way. I will stop and listen if you speak in the stillness. Whatever this day holds, I want to live it with you, not apart from you. That is the essence of surrender, not abandoning your plans, but inviting Him into them so completely that they are no longer yours alone. And now, as the morning stretches before you, step into it with this assurance: you are not left to figure everything out. The God who ordered the stars and set the rhythm of the seasons is the same God who cares for the smallest details of your life. His timing will not fail you, because His love cannot fail you. Walk forward gently, carrying peace, because your times are in His hands. And so, as this prayer comes to a close, let your heart rest in the assurance that nothing in your day is outside of God's care. You have surrendered your plans. You have placed your trust in His perfect timing. And now you can step forward with peace. Whatever today may bring, success or delay, clarity or questions, you are not walking alone. The Lord is beside you, guiding each step, holding each moment, and weaving every detail into His greater purpose for your life. May this truth give you courage. May it lift the weight from your shoulders. And may it remind you throughout the day that surrender is not weakness but freedom. Go now with faith, knowing that God's timing is never late and His love never fails. My dear friend, thank you for joining in this prayer. If these words have blessed your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, so we can continue to walk together in God's Word and lift our mornings to Him in trust. Until we meet again, May the peace of Christ remain with you. May His Spirit guide you, and may His light shine over every plan you place in His hands. Amen.